Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Afi and I'm back again with another video. So my last video was the September recap. I hope you've watched it. If you haven't, I'm going to link it down below and you can definitely go and watch that video. It's going to be very informative about my month of September. But this time's video is a semester recap. So I've mentioned in a few other videos that I am a university student. So I felt like this is a video that I really want to do, like just to give guys a rundown of my entire university, of my first semester of third year, right? I think this is going to be a really cool video to look back on as well, like when I'm done with school completely, because the stress of university is insane. And I feel like it's literally just a drop in the ocean because life gets more and more stressful. So that's annoying. But anyway, as I mentioned before, this video is a semester recap. And so, first of all, I want to start by saying I'm in my third year, as I've mentioned. This is my first semester of my third year. And the difference between this year and like any other time would be the fact that this time it was like online university, like it was quarantine and we weren't allowed to go to school physically. So this semester was online, and so that was very different from any other time that I have been to school. I've never done classes online, so it was a bit exciting. As a matter of fact, like in the beginning, I remember just thinking, oh my god, this is the coolest thing that has ever happened in life. I don't have to leave my house. Maybe I have to dress up a few days, but like ultimately I felt like it was the coolest thing. I'm just here to say that that was a bit of a setup. My excitement was a bit like premature, but I enjoyed the semester. But it was very different. That's one. And it was also very challenging. Like it was differently challenging. I don't know how else to say it. It was just different. So all right, the first thing I'm going to start with is just talking about my classes. So essentially, this semester I had classes from Monday to Friday. Every single day I had a class. Mondays and Tuesdays I had two classes, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. My classes are all 3 hours. And so on a day like Monday and Tuesday, I'm technically in school for the entire day because that's 6 hours of class, which is, an entire day. That's a full day. I'm also going to just interject right now and say that there's a bit of background noises. In my past videos, I have mentioned it, but let me tell you guys, my neighbors have like it's always a different neighbor. Like one time it was this neighbor, the other time it was this one, the other one is the other one. Like every single neighbor seems to want to construct things right now, and it's very frustrating. But anyway, that was a mini rant on that noise, but it's fine. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, my classes were all 3 hours. I had classes Monday to Friday, so I had no day free. And that was okay. Like first of all, let me just talk about that. 3 hours of looking at a screen like this non-stop is very frustrating. My uni insists on having a 15-minute break in between the classes, 15 to 20 minutes, so that helps a lot. But 3 hours of class expected to pay attention, I think that's a bit ridiculous, honestly. But that's just my opinion. Like 3 hours of class is so crazy. Like who is even paying attention 3 hours straight? I don't know if I can pay attention to anything for 3 hours straight. But that was now like a very big challenge. And when you're having physical classes, you're with other people, right? So even if you're not paying attention, you watch other people paying attention, you're like, oh my god, maybe I should. But now you're literally in your room alone, or in your study, or wherever it is that you are, and there's nobody to motivate you. Literally, you have yourself to motivate. Like at this point, you're motivating yourself. That was crazy. The next thing I want to talk about is group work. I've mentioned in another video that I don't like group work because group work is so tasking, and like it's just a lot, and especially when you're working in groups, you have to accommodate other people, which is all fine and dandy when someone, like, unless somebody wants to be difficult, or unless you can't do something and you feel bad and no one else wants to do it, blah blah blah. It's a whole mess. But I just want to say group work this semester, it's been very different because of course you can't meet in person, so you've had to do group work online as well. I think I'm just very, very lucky that I've had quite a great group. Like my group mates have been so good this semester. Like I think it helps when you're picking your own group mates, because then you pick people that you know will do like proper work. And I was just lucky to have a group of people who are like, what is it called? They're driven, right? They're driven. They know what they want. Like, they don't mess with schoolwork, which is absolutely great. You know, the worst thing to have in a group is people who want to like just coast through. Who want to just like glide on through, you know, like they don't do anything, or they make your life so difficult you have to follow them every 2 seconds. Like, that is the most frustrating thing. And I really like my group this semester. Shout out to you guys. It's been fun. Um, Having online university is also very different during quarantine over another time when maybe you picked it, because you don't get to leave the house, you know. Like, initially, okay, let me just give you a bit of a background on myself. I don't technically leave the house that much, only if I'm going for lunch with my friends, or if I'm going to school, if I'm going to church. Like, the only times I leave the house is if I'm going to church, school, or lunch with my friends. I technically do not leave the house any other time unless I'm chilling with my friends from the estate. Shout out to you guys. So this time, because it's been so like just online school, places were closed for a lot of the time. And even if they're not closed, you don't want to put yourself in a place where you can contract the virus. Like, bro, that thing is still alive, and I'm not out here trying to get it. And I think, even like, more than just thinking about myself, you don't want to be the person who's infecting other people. And so, if you're leaving the house, you want to leave the house intentionally. Like, you don't want to just be going to just go. You know, there was a time when I had people say, oh, you know, sometimes I just go to town and sit down and look around. Like, even in a normal world, that concept is so strange to me. But then now, more than ever, I just think that's the craziest thing you can ever do. So, because of that, you find that you don't leave the house. Like, literally, I stayed maybe 2-3 weeks without leaving the house at all, except when my friends came over to look for me, because of course I love to live under a rock. I'm always disappearing, but my friends, like, you guys, shout out, man. It's been great. But yeah, like, you find that you don't leave the house at all. Like, you can just sit in your room. Like, let alone leaving your house, leaving your room is a whole other thing. Like, I would only leave my room when I was going to get food, or when I was going to play the piano, or that's about it, actually. Like, that's the only time I would leave my room. Like, it reached a point, my mom was like, can you just try and have your classes downstairs as well? Like, just try and change your setup and stuff like that. And so I did. It was actually really cool. So I started having a few classes downstairs. So I just sit in the sitting room, set up my laptop and my lights and my books, and I would write and stuff like that. And it was really good. And I used my earphones so that I don't make noise for the rest of my family. But it was so good having my classes like in the sitting room, just a different setting than in my room. Because when you're in your room, first of all, you just want to sit on your bed. That's the first thing. You just want to sit on your bed. When you're sitting on your bed, all you want to do is sleep. So, like, it's so distractive. It's the most distractive thing. So initially, like at the beginning of the semester, I decided that I did not want to have any class on my bed. So I would actually like wake up in the morning like a normal day. I would wake up in the morning, I would shower, I would get ready for the day. Then I would sit at my desk, and that was how I would do my classes. Like, the entire day I would just be at my desk doing, like, attending classes, doing my assignments, doing group, just anything that was needed to be done, I would do it at my desk instead of like doing it on my bed. And then in August I sort of had a bit of a cold, so I was very low on energy, to be honest. So during that time, I think I attended a few classes in my bed, but then most of them I would actually go downstairs, because I felt like being in my room was just too tempting. So I would actually go downstairs, and I would attend my classes downstairs at that time. So I would definitely wake up, get ready just like a normal day, and then I would go and sit downstairs, and that's where I would attend my classes. Then now, like towards September, to be honest, I didn't really care. So some days I would be on my bed, some days I would be at my desk, some days I would be downstairs, depending on the internet as well, because internet is a whole other thing. But sometimes the Wi-Fi connection is weird, so it's easier to just be downstairs, because my sister is also in class, and so we're both just using the internet can be very weird. So sometimes I would just go downstairs because of the internet, because I didn't want to be kicked out of class and stuff like that. So the next thing I'm going to go into is the whole internet situation. The thing about online university is that you need internet. my school was really good at this. They sent us bundles and stuff like that. Sometimes I would manage to use them. I wasn't able to hotspot them so well, to be honest, but I'm hoping I figure that out, because technology can be a challenge. But yeah, my school sent us bundles, which was really, really good. But then, like, we have Wi-Fi anyway, so it's one of those things where I would probably use Wi-Fi most of the time. But I found that there was a month, I think it was August, when like the Wi-Fi was hardly there. Like, we had Wi-Fi almost never, and so I use my bundles most of that time that we don't have Wi-Fi. So it can be very frustrating when you pay for something and the service is not done well. To be honest, I don't even want to blast anyone, but you guys, if anyone uses Zuku, like, Zuku can be so, so stressful. Like, what it can be the most stressful thing. When I remember one time my family was moving things around, then I don't know, they connected the wrong thing. I don't know what they did. We didn't have Wi-Fi for like a whole day or two, and I was just like, seriously. Then the Zuku people came. When they came, they just came and disconnected something, and I just remember being so irritated. I was just like, this is annoying. Like, I suffered this much. This is plain annoying. That's what it is. It's just annoying. But yeah, so that's the thing with the internet. Whichever service provider you're using, I'm sure sometimes it trips, and if it doesn't, please let me know, because to be honest, like, we're looking to change, because like, I just don't see a point of paying for something that is not giving you what you deserve. Yeah, so that was the internet aspect of online university. The next thing I want to talk about is the workload. So the thing with online university is that we were not doing as many cuts as we would do before. Okay, the way my school is structured, we do 2 cuts a semester. We have a term paper. Sometimes it's group work, sometimes it's individual. Then yeah, that's basically it. So this time we're only doing 1 cut instead of 2. And there was one lecturer who opted out of doing cuts at all, so we're just doing assignments. So the thing with online university is I feel like we had more work to do right now than we had before, and this could also be the fact that it's 3rd year, because having conversations with different people before I went into 3rd year, everyone mentioned the 3rd year is actually the most tasking year. Like, it's actually heavier and there's a lot of work, and it's just it's just more. So this could actually also be the fact that it was 3rd year, that there was so much work, but there was a lot of work. Like, the work that we had to do was literally, I feel like, double what I would have done if we were not doing it online. I just feel like since the beginning of the semester, we had work to do. Like, from the beginning of the semester, there was assignments. Like, there's work due next week, blah, 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 just stuff like that. And I'm just like, bro, are we not? Like, there's this meme that my friend posted, one of my classmates, she posted it into something to do with, like, every day there's an assignment due or something like that. And it was hilarious. So I'm going to post it here, and we'll just all have a laugh at that, because that's how my life was. Yeah, so that's just the workload. There was a lot of group work as well, way more than we would have. Usually we just have like 1 assignment that's usually group work. This time I feel like we had a lot. Like, most of our work was group work in most units. In other units it was all individual work, and I've already talked about my group, which was great. Then the next thing I want to say is just, like, I was going to talk about the pros, but then I just want to talk about getting like screen fatigue, because that's something that was such a big thing. I feel like I've had a lot of headaches, a lot of just like, I don't know, it's just been a lot of headaches during this time. There was a time when I was having migraines quite a bit. And I feel like I should attribute that to school. So of course there's the stress of school, but then there's also like screen fatigue. The fact that, first of all, our classes are all 3 hours, and so I'm first of all always looking at my screen like this for 3 hours, right? And then after class we have assignments, right? So there's more time of me literally just look at my screen like this because of assignments. And then of course there's like leisure time when you just want to watch YouTube and stuff like that. And where am I watching YouTube? On my laptop. So like, literally I spend an entire day on my laptop. And to be honest, like, initially I didn't really care about it, but then it became very like annoying. Like I even started like reading physical books, because like I also have a lot of books, and I mean, I don't have a lot of books, oh my god, I wish, but I like to read books, and I realized that, you know, it's cheaper to get ebooks. And so, you know, that just means again using my laptop or using my phone. But my laptop is what I use the most, because my phone is not anyway. So yeah, I use my laptop the most, and so I can literally just spend an entire day on my laptop. And you can think that all I'm doing is having fun, but then also let's think about the fact that I'm doing this YouTube, and so like that also is like a few other hours of like making the thumbnail, or going through the video to make sure that I like the video so that I can post it, or doing another video and going through it again, blah blah blah, and that kind of thing. So that means then I'm on literally my laptop the entire time. And so that was very, very strange. Like it was just new, because I feel like initially I had time when I didn't have to be on my laptop. Like when you're in class, of course you're not using your laptop, so you're just there listening to the lecturer, chilling, blah blah blah. Then you leave class maybe to do your assignment, you do it on your laptop, and then you close it again, maybe chill, kidogo, have some fun, you know, watch some YouTube, or series or movies and stuff like that. Because I don't watch a lot of series and movies, so I may not actually just like see that a lot. But and then also did I have physical books then? No. Anyway, I haven't bought physical books in a really long time, but my mom has like a whole shelf of books. So now I just started like picking books to read for fun and stuff like that. Right now I'm reading a book called A Diamond in the Desert by Joe Tachel. It's really, really interesting. I think it's about Abu Dhabi and just how it grew. So that's been interesting to read. Yeah, so I've been trying to read more like physical books, because I'm already spending so much time on my laptop doing all these things that I need to do, that I'm trying to spend the least time just like for leisure. Um, yeah, so that's one thing I want to talk about. So I wrote a list actually of the pros of having online university. So one pro is that you don't have to leave the house, especially in the cold. In Kenya, during July and a lot of August actually, it was freezing. Like you guys, it was very cold. I don't thrive in the cold so much. Like I don't like the cold, not because I get sick, but just because it just gives me a lazy vibe. Like I really don't want to leave bed. I don't want to move. I don't want to, you know. So it was very, very cold. So that was one of the pros. I didn't have to leave the house when it was cold, which is so great. I love that. Second pro is I became more intentional with the stuff that I was doing. So, for example, me actually getting physical books so that I don't have to read, so I don't have to read online, or so I don't have to like spend all my time looking at a screen. That was very intentional. Also, the fact that when you're having online university, it's very easy to drift. Like your attention actually goes like this. Like you're listening, then you're not, and then you're listening, and then you're not, and then you're listening, and then you're like, that's how it goes. I'm just being honest. So it just made me like I had to be more attentive, and I had to be more intentional with paying attention in class. Like it wasn't enough to just say I'm sitting here looking at my screen. It's literally like I'm sitting here listening to what the lecturer has to say with the intention of responding and asking questions and stuff like that, because I realized that on the days that I wasn't like participating in class, then I really wasn't paying attention. Like I just wasn't. So that was another thing. And the third pro, I think it's the third one, was it made me take planning very seriously. That is something that was so big. Like I'm telling you, I don't think I would have been able to plan as well as I did if we did not have online university. With this, I want to just say that I started using Google Calendar, which is literally the most exciting thing to me. Like I just find it so exciting. But yeah, and it's been nice. Like initially I had been planning manually, so I have a little diary. Let me pull it up. So I have a diary. My mom got me this for 2020, and so this is what I've been using to plan. Like I have like this has been my life. And so every single day since, actually I think it was May is when I started to plan properly. And initially I was using like different papers. So I would pull up a paper and I would write like a list of everything that I want to do. And instead of just writing like a to-do list, I would do like time. So it would be like wake up at like maybe 7 a.m., then do a devotion for about an hour, then work out for about an hour, then do blah blah. You know, when I was on holiday, I had a lot of time to do things, by the way. I missed that time. Take me back, man. But that's how I started. So I started writing lists and stuff like that, and I was like in May, June, and then that was May and June. I used like papers. I used a bit of this diary at that time, and then in July is when like I started doing it every single day. Like most days, my this thing is literally full on most days. It's written every single thing that I was gonna do every day of July, and then August as well, and then in like towards the end of August, I started to use Google Calendar. So now I use this. Now I use this book as well. So what happens is I'm still trying to figure out how to balance it because I literally just started using it towards the end of August. So I've only used it for September, the Google Calendar thing. But I realize that when something comes up, the first place I put it is in this book, right? And then when I'm planning for the month, I'll just like input, especially like if it's things for that are coming up in the next month and stuff like that. Because you know, when you're in school and you have a lot of like, what are they called? They're called not conferences, but like webinars. Yeah, when you have webinars and different meetings, sometimes they're not especially in that month, and so and even they're not even in that week. So I find that it's easier for me to like write it down. I put it down here first, and then when I'm planning for the next week or when I'm planning for the next day, I check through this and then I input it to my Google Calendar. Sometimes when you are like, what is it called? When you're signing up for something online, then of course it's easier to just put it in your Google Calendar first. And so I find that that helps as well. So I just put it to my Google Calendar directly. And then I'll just, on the day that I'm planning the next day, I'm just going to check what's on here and what's on there. And then I match them up and then I make my list of the things that I want to be done in this one day. So it's been great to actually take planning seriously and being intentional with it. I have loved it. Like, I don't know what else to say. I have absolutely loved planning. It's something that I've always wanted to be a planner. I've really, really always wanted to plan stuff, but I've always been a very like, what is it called? Not dynamic. I won't use the word dynamic because that's what I'm thinking about. But I've always just been the kind of person who just does things like this. And you know, when you're busier, it's easier to plan, and that's what I learned. And so yeah, this having online university has really taught me to do that. So that is my last pro. I had to say the pros at the end because I feel like throughout the video I've said the disadvantages. So I just wanted to make it intentional to say that even though there's been all these things that have been difficult and new and different, there's also been things that have been absolutely great, and I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to have like online university. And I like that I'm using the word online university because, you know, I've always wanted to, so that has been cool. So anyway, yeah, I'm just grateful about that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with anyone that you know, anyone who's about to attend online university. Just share this video so that you can just be ready, so that you can be ready for online university, because it's fun, it's all fun and games, but then it's also like very, very hectic. I also recognize that it's been difficult for some people to like be able to do it, and I know in this video I make it seem so great, you know, even though I talk about things that are not particularly great, I make it seem so much fun, but that has just been my experience of it. If you've done classes online, please let me know what you felt about them. Like, did you enjoy them as much as I did, or is that just me? Wait, another thing that I enjoyed also was the fact that we were doing open book exams and cuts. Can I just say that has been like a godsend? Like, I can't tell you how happy I am that I have open book exams, because as much as they're difficult, like they're actually more difficult and they're more like you have to apply. Like, so there's a lot of application, and so it's not like copy and pasting. I feel like for me, the fact that I don't have to master some things has been relieving, because I feel like earlier we just had to master things, and me mastering doesn't even mean that I know how to use that information. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can master, but then it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to apply this information anywhere. So I feel like having open book exams for me has been more like making me think about it application wise, like where would I use this concept that I was taught in class, how could I apply it in this other situation, or this situation, how was this used, or stuff like that. Like for me, that has been so big. It has been the best thing. I can't even complain about it. And I just think ultimately my university has been very good at it. They've really tried their best to do the best that they could for us, and I'm so thankful for that. So shout out to my uni. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.